You know that sound? That faint drip that turns into a steady stream? Or even worse, that sudden, shocking gush of water where it has absolutely no business being? Yeah, it's pretty much a homeowner's worst nightmare. But understanding the anatomy of this kind of emergency is really the key to surviving it. Okay, let's dive into this.
So, quick question for you. What do you think is the single most destructive force that can threaten your home? It's not fire, it's not wind, nope. The real culprit is often silent, it's relentless, and honestly, it's surprisingly common.
That's right, it's water. From a tiny little unnoticed drip to a full-on flood, water getting into your house is the #1 enemy of its structure, its health, and its value. But why is it so dangerous? And what's the professional playbook for actually fighting back?
First up, we've got to understand the enemy. Water attacks, well, they can come from literally anywhere at any time. It's really not a matter of if, but more like when and where it's going to strike.
And these are the usual suspects. You know, those brutal freeze-thaw cycles we see? They can burst the pipe so easily. That trusty washing machine or water heater? It can fail without any warning at all. And then, of course, you've got storms, roof leaks, or the absolute worst-case scenario, a sewage backup. Every single one of these is a ticking clock.
But here's the thing. The water you can actually see? That's just the opening act. The real danger, the one that causes all the long-term damage and health issues, is the moisture you can't see, the stuff that's trapped behind your walls and under your floors.
Now, pay close attention to this number right here. 48. That's the window you have, because after just 2 days in damp conditions, a much more sinister problem starts to take root: mold. And we're not just talking about a musty smell, we're talking about structural rot and some serious potential health hazards.
And believe it or not all water is created equal. The professionals, they follow a guide from the IICRC, and they classify water into 3 categories. So Category 1 is clean water, like from a supply line. Category 2, that's gray water, and it's contaminated. Think washing machine discharge. And then there's Category 3, black water, which is just grossly unsanitary. Yeah, we're talking sewage or floodwater here. The category really determines the risk and the whole response plan.
And this brings us to this really crucial concept called category escalation. See, that clean Category 1 water from a burst pipe, it's not going to stay clean for long. As it sits there for 48 hours and soaks into all your building materials, it breaks down and becomes a contaminated Category 2 or even a Category 3 situation. This is exactly why speed isn't just a suggestion, it is an absolute necessity.
Okay, so the worst has happened. You're facing a water disaster. What happens next? Well, thankfully, the pros have a rescue mission with a proven 3-phase playbook to take back your home.
It all boils down to these 3 critical steps. First, you've got the emergency response, basically to stop the bleeding. Second, there's a scientific process of drying out everything you can't see. And third, the final restoration, to make it all look like it never even happened.
Phase 1 is all about speed and power. Look, professionals do not show up with a little shop vac. They bring in truck-mounted extractors that can pull out thousands of gallons of water per hour. The goal is simple: get the standing water out immediately to stop it from spreading into other areas.
Next up is the science part. Phase 2 is all about hunting down that hidden moisture. They use tools like thermal imaging cameras, which are basically like X-ray vision for water, to find moisture trapped inside walls and under floors. Then they set up this carefully managed system of industrial dehumidifiers and air movers to pull all that moisture out completely.
And finally, once the property is confirmed to be completely bone dry, the restoration can begin. This is the rebuild. Damaged drywall gets replaced, new floors go in, everything's painted and finished to bring your home back to exactly how it was before the disaster ever struck.
Now, this is something that trips a lot of people up, but it's pretty simple. Mitigation is the emergency first aid. It's all about stopping the damage from getting worse. Restoration is the reconstructive surgery, the actual rebuilding process. You absolutely need both for a full recovery.
So the water is gone, the fans are humming. You'd think you're in the clear, right? Well, not quite. The emergency isn't over. Now comes the aftermath. All the paperwork and making sure the job was done to professional standards. Knowing the rules of this game is absolutely critical.
This is probably the most important acronym you need to know: IICRC. Just think of it as the seal of approval for water damage professionals. A certified firm has to follow these really strict protocols that are designed to protect you, your property, and your health. Don't ever settle for anything less.
Look, we all know navigating an insurance claim can be a total nightmare, but a true professional will basically handle it for you. They should be giving your insurance company everything on this list: photo evidence, scientific moisture readings, detailed logs, and estimates that use industry-standard software. All this documentation is the key to a smooth, stress-free claims process.
All right, so we've covered a lot, from the causes all the way to the cure. But if you take away only one thing from all of this, please let it be this next point.
This says it all, doesn't it? Taking shortcuts, like not drying the structure all the way or using cheap materials, it doesn't save you money. It just postpones a bigger, way more expensive problem down the road. Doing it right the first time isn't just about repairs. It's about protecting the long-term health and value of your home.
And so, I'll leave you with this question. After everything we've just gone over, it's worth asking yourself, do you know where the weak points are in your own home? You know, that aging water heater, the hose bib outside, the seals around your windows. Because when it comes to water, a little bit of awareness now can prevent a huge disaster later.